And at the same time, headquarters would call me, divisions would call me, and they say, we need a Spanish-speaking. Consequently, I was making 3, 4, 5 buys a day and still doing my job as a group supervisor.
So they really had few to not know actual
Undercovers.
Hispanic undercovers.
No, they had very few. And every one of the Hispanic ones were way, way overworked. And I just loved it. You know, I couldn't do enough. It just made me feel alive.
And very few, because
So then some people started calling me the Jew Rican. All right, the Nicky Barnes case, my undercover involvement. A DEA agent who, he and I had worked together, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, and we went way back. But he was the undercover guy who actually put together the whole Nicky Barnes case.
Leroy Nicky Barnes, who for 7 years in the 1970s was godfather of the largest and most profitable heroin selling operation in the history of New York City. Between 1973 and 77, Barnes was arrested variously for homicide, bribery, drug dealing, and gun possession, but none of the charges stuck. He became a Harlem legend and very rich, and whatever he had, he flaunted, be it women or Rolls Royces.
Yeah, Louis Diaz is the guy, and prosecutors, other agents took all the credit away from him, but Louis Diaz was the guy. So I'm called one night by Carl Jackson, who was a division leader, and he said, you know, Diaz is going to do some money laundering for the Nicky Barnes organization. Yeah, it was. The truth is, Hollywood made them, and media made him much bigger than he really was. He was big compared to other thugs, but basically he was just one of a guy. He was the flavor of the hour, you know, for media. Nicky Barnes, Mr. Untouchable. Wow, holy shit! So I'm working all of this. I was working 24/7. You don't. There's no such thing. 25 years in DEA, you really put in 50, because you were just working all the time. And so was I, being an undercover and wanting to do it, and being a group supervisor, responsible for every agent's case, controlling by bust operations, undercover cases, sometimes putting myself in undercover to make the case, because you want the case, you want the stats, you want the statistics, because at the end of it, somebody gives you a great attaboy and a money award and a promotion, and so I was getting all of those things, all the goodies. And the goodies came from, you know, being this prolific agent, prolific undercover, prolific supervisor. But what it got me involved in is all of this. Nicky Barnes, Frank Matthews. I was on the hunt for Frank Matthews many, many times. But the Nicky Barnes case, I actually went undercover with Louis Diaz to launder money, and it was a pretty hairy moment. An after-hours joint in Harlem. I was assigned to show up. So here I'm assigned by Carl Jackson, an African-American division leader, to go up and deliver a suitcase full of cash. I don't remember how much it was.
Laundered cash.
Yeah. And I was going to deliver the laundered cash to the Nicky Barnes organization. I didn't know who.
Oh, he was changing small bills to big bills, wasn't he?
Yes. Yes. So you're talking about... and Louis Diaz got in posing as a guy who could do that. You know, you give me all this, you give me $10 million in tens, ones, fives, and I'll give you back in stacks of hundreds. Carl Jackson calls me up to his office. He says, Louis Diaz needs somebody to deliver the, you know, you got to go up to Chez Joey. This is an after-hours club owned by Nicky Barnes. Bad. This is what you call a bucket of blood, and
meaning
you're gonna have homicides there, you know, all the time. You're gonna have a suitcase full of cash. They called me, his men called me the Mule, and they thought I was the scariest fucking guy. It's in the appeal. I just kept it. I have the appeal someplace where they called me the Mule.
Oh, so if you ever find that. So.
Yeah, yeah. So I show up, and I've got this suitcase full of money. I had to park on the street in Harlem, walk about half a block to this place, and then up. It's like 2 in the morning. And the thought that kept coming back to me is, I don't know who knows I'm showing up with money. I have no idea. My life was what I realized is my life was totally in the hands of others at that moment. And if whoever in this neighborhood knows that this guy just got out, by the way, wearing a New York City police motorcycle jacket, got out. That's all I had. It was a cold winter night, and I used to wear a. I bought
It
it.
didn't say NYPD.
No,
but
no.
Someone would know, like, hey.
Yeah,
that's
anybody.
a cop.
That's what I bought it at in a I don't know.
Oh, it's Army, Navy.
Yeah, something like it was there. It later became a collector's fucking item. But I had this police motorcycle, and I remember going up to Carl Jackson and saying, "Oh, this is all I got." He said, "Yeah, go ahead." So that deal went down, and it was intense. It was intense, really intense in my own head, because I understood this is how you die. You think nothing can happen, but this is how you die, because I don't know who knows I'm there with that.
So, right, not necessarily that they're going to make you for a cop. It could be someone wanting to
Just
rob you, anything.
More likely. They know, if anybody knows that this guy's showing up with 80,000 or 100,000 or whatever I had.
It's like $1 million back then.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm walking through the streets so fast, so freaking fast. So I had guys on the street watching me, but they couldn't. You know, it's like Undercover.
Some junkie runs up to you and...
It's gone, yeah. It's gone. So I always remembered that. It's super intense. And later on, it became part of a documentation of something where I was complaining about DEA, their handling of me. And I listed all the things that I had done where I got no recognition and others got. And this was one of them. I said, in the paper, I said, I probably did one of the most dangerous parts of the Nicky Barnes success. He said, I wasn't even mentioned in the awards. All these guys got awards. This would happen throughout my career.
Oh yeah, that was a career case. If you got to be, because it was on Jimmy Carter's radar, it was on the national
Oh yeah,
news.
yeah.
So if you got to be one of the people who did the Nicky Barnes case, you
Yeah.
live off that glory the rest of your life.
Yeah, and most of them stole whatever accolades they got from Louis Diaz, because Louis Diaz ran that case.
Was he? And he was a cop.
No, Louis Diaz.
Right, he was.
Louis Diaz started out like Louis Diaz and I were both in alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
Oh, he was a law enforcement.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But what he got introduced in by the white guy though.
That's right.
Who was
a
like,
guy called Geronimo.
Yeah, who grew up around. So he introduced.
Yeah,
Diaz.
Geronimo brought Louis in.
Which is funny. The Nicky Barnes thing got broken by a white guy bringing a undercover agent in.
Yeah, yeah. You know probably more about it now than I do, because
Yeah, it was one case.
Yeah, one case among
many.
Yeah.
The movie industry saturating the black mentality with a death wish.
Street corner indoctrination, it's overpowering.
Drugs were in the black community. Nobody really cared.
The African-American community has quite a debt to what we would consider a criminal enterprise.
According to leading researchers, Negroes buy more quality products than any other comparable United States group.
Their parents had struggled and marched and wanted to make sure that they were extremely successful and to go as far as their talents could take them, suddenly got involved in drugs. And the drug was heroin. So it was just destroying the African-American community.
I am a revolutionary.
We don't want welfare colonialism in the black ghetto. The basic issue has to do with whether or not we can control some employment for ourselves.
White powder, black power is the story of how the illegal drug economy was the first truly large and widespread capital building tool for African Americans.
I mean, they may be colorful, they may be glamorous, they may give turkeys on Thanksgiving, they may support a Little League baseball team, but they're selling a substance that's going to kill your child or your grandchild.
I'm not condoning what they do. What I'm simply saying is that there are many on that playing field. And so when we demonize one group and then another group, we just kind of smile and look the other way.
The Jews, the Irish. I mean, as every group in America has attempted to go to the next level economically, the story of organized crime and narcotics has played a part in it.